The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Step in the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying around the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes. These other sports podcasts live as a pros course. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window. They analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the force ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season to people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat stick. I got what you need.
That's right, y'all. Every freaking week we are here. Well, except for about a month ago. We're here with what you need. It's your boy, the mayor. Thank y'all for rocking out with us. This is the newest episode of the Starting Five. Once again, hidden in the supply closet of the deepest, darkest Africa. We are back with the newest episode. I need y'all, again, for those who rock with us and watch the show live, hit that StreamYard.com/Facebook so you could just do all the check-in stuff to make sure that you gain the ability to have your name shown on camera. If you're going to be Mr. or Mrs. Facebook user, let us know who y'all are somehow, some way. If we might not be following the stream in another window or something, But to simplify all that, StreamYard.com/Facebook is going to take you a couple seconds. That's it. And that's it for the intro on my part. Next up, the man that is absorbing all the sunshine and returning none of it back.
That's right. Reclaiming my melanin. What's good, y'all? Enjoying this lovely, lovely Saturday afternoon. It's a good deal. Start my vacation today, so I'm very happy. Off for the whole week. Got a lot of stuff going on, so looking forward to it. Mr. Mayor, how are you doing today? Oh, just shout out again to my man Seventh the Panther and Fred the intro. That shit is just fire. I love coming into that intro every day, every time we besides that, I'm feeling good, feeling refreshed, ready to kick this show off the right way, sir. I can't hear you.
My bad, y'all. I said I was going to give y'all a little sneak peek on how you do not get into this group. Here's the easy way how to not get into this group. You see this guy here, right? I'm not going to read his name. If he decides to ever be a fan and check us out, he'll know. But the second question, are you a fan of the podcast? Answer yes or no. Will you subscribe to the podcast? Yes or no. Will you share our show when posted? Yes or no. This motherfucker said no. So guess what? You say no, you don't get in. It's just that simple. You say no.
It's that easy.
You don't
It's that
get in.
easy.
You don't get in. You can say yes to everything. You could have gave us your social, your blood type, all that stuff. Everything. You said no to helping promote us. The reason why this group even exists, is because of the podcast. And you said no. One no. That answered all three questions into one. Bye bye. We didn't need to get to know you anyway. Unless that's one of your peoples out there, then let them know to come correct the next time. But no. But
I
anyway,
mean, the name
TJ,
of the
what we
group is
got
called
up?
the Starting Five. What would it mean?
The no, no, it's called the Starting Five Podcast. The Starting Five Podcast is the name of the group.
Podcast.
What the
Right.
fuck did you think? What the fuck do you think is going on? Even though we could clap at some of our members who are in here, but I digress because they've been down from day one. Most of these people and do support no matter what. So, but it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. I ain't gonna trip over it no more. TJ, what we got on the docket today?
We got a couple of things on the docket today. We got the NBA draft. We've got the investigation in Congress about the insurrection on 1/6, and we are going to finish up strong today, talking about Ms. Simone Biles and her trials and tribulations and what's going on with her situation at the Olympics. A lot of opinionated people on this, a lot of non-athletes opinionated on this, a lot of people who can't do a cartwheel, much less a push-up, are opinionated on this. So we're going to get into a deep dive with that towards the end of the show. But first, we're going to kick it off with the NBA draft. You said you didn't catch it, or you didn't
Yeah,
you or
I know I was busy or something that day. I don't remember why I didn't watch it. I might have been in bed actually. I think Thursday might have been an early night for bed for me because I worked every single day this fucking week, from Sunday to today. So I might not have caught it that day.
wow.
But out of that though, I
Hey,
did hear the big
well, the
news
consensus.
that happened. I did hear the big news that happened that we'll get into in a little bit after you give the rundown of what went on.
Okay. So as you know, the consensus first round pick was no big deal. Everybody knew this guy was going first and who he was going to, and that's Cade Cunningham. He definitely went to the Detroit Pistons as the consensus number one draft pick. Great for him. They got a nice young nucleus they're building out there. Um, Looks like they're building from the ground up, which is totally the way you should get it done, especially how in the doldrums Detroit's been these last couple of years. So, shouts out to them. They tried it with Blake Griffin before, it didn't work out, and Andre Drummond, that combo didn't work. So, they're going a younger route. They drafted a younger kid, Sadiq Bey, who's pretty good, and they got a lot of moving parts. In a few years, they should have a really solid team if they can afford to keep everybody. Jalen Green went to the Rockets next. Another solid pick for them. I don't know what the Rockets are doing though. After they've traded Harden, they seem to have a fire sale. They tried it with Chris Paul. They tried it with Westbrook. They tried it with all these mellow. Nothing seemed to work. So maybe they're tearing it down and starting all over from the ground up again. We'll see how that works out. Going third was Evan Mobley to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Solid young kid. I don't know if Cleveland's the best place for a rookie to start out. They were trash after LeBron left. They got Kyrie. They didn't really get any better when he was there until LeBron came back. LeBron left, Kyrie left, and they began to be proceeded to be trash again. Uh, Outside of the worst owner, outside of Dan Dolan, James Dolan, I'm sorry, I don't even care about this dude anymore. Uh, that owner for the Cleveland Cavaliers is like 1A as one of the worst owners in sports franchise history. So
That's
I'm
Dan
not going to
Gilbert.
deep
You were
dive into
trying.
that, but
You I think it's Dan
yeah,
Gilbert you
Dan
were
Gilbert,
remixing.
right? well, maybe combine their superpowers. They could be like the
All
ultimate
right, Dan Gilbert and Snyder,
doom for NBA
Dan
transit.
Gilbert, Snyder, and James Dolan. Yep.
Dolan. But yeah. So um, I wish this kid luck. Hopefully, he can play himself out of there unless they change the situation. But just good luck to him. The unexpected pick for the Raptors going forth with this kid named Scotty Barnes. I don't know too much about him because unfortunately I don't follow the college game like that. But he's going into a good situation. I don't know what they're going to do with all those wings out there. They got OG Anunoby, they got Pascal Siakam, they got this kid and Kyle Lowry. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to keep everybody. Maybe Siakam goes. I think Kyle Lowry's definitely out of there, and they're gonna just make way for the young squad. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Usai Ujiri usually knows what he's doing out there, but even him, I don't know what his future is with that team, or if they can afford to keep him, or he's gonna take his talents elsewhere. The fourth pick went to the Magic. The fifth pick went to the Magic. Jalen Suggs, another solid kid. The Magic, hopefully they can get over. They got bit by the injury bad last year. They had Anthony Cole Anthony, which is Greg Anthony's son. He got injured. Markel Fultz was also injured for a majority of the season. So they're looking like they're building a nice young nucleus out there. Hopefully they tighten the ship, right the ship, and the Magic can be competitive once again in the near future. That was the top five. Of course, we're going to talk about my squad here, the New York Knicks. They had the 19th and the 21st pick, and they traded both those picks away, which I was very frustrated at the point when they did it. I don't know what they were doing. They've been playing it close to the vest this whole entire season, this whole entire year. So they went with a kid named Quentin Grimes, was a top five prospect, 5-star All American, McDonald's All American. Went to Kansas for a year, washed out there, really didn't work out for him. Went to Houston, reinvented himself, became he was supposed to be an all-around, do everything point guard, transformed himself to a 3-and-D player. We'll see if he's going to be the younger version of Reggie Bullock. If those of you who follow the Knicks know who I'm talking about, I think that might be insurance for Reggie Bullock if we can't be able to sign him. The other kid I really like is the kid they drafted 35th, Miles McBride. They call him Deuce. Solid young kid, a little on the short side at 6'2", but he's got a 6'7" wingspan, 200 pounds, built like a truck. Runs the point, can create for himself. If you those that follow the college game, we saw that highlight where he stole the ball from the number one draft pick, Cade Cunningham, went down the other end and yammed it on him. This kid's got a lot of toughness in him. Seems like he's a Tibbs guy. He wants a rugged, kind of run downhill type of point guard who can play some defense. Like I said, he's lacking in height, but he's got the wingspan. You're not really going to bully him because, like I said, the kid is like 200 pounds. So we'll see what he can bring to the table. Summer League is going to be able to weed out, I'm not weed out, but let these kids put their talent on display somewhat. You got a lot of veterans and third and fourth year players that are still playing in the summer league, trying to make the team or a roster spot on another team. So it should be interesting out there in Memphis and in Florida. I'm looking forward to it. That's it for me. I don't know if you have any opinions on it, Dan. I know you said you didn't
Well,
follow it that well, but
the Knicks,
that's what I got.
yeah, this year's I kind of whiffed on, like I mentioned. But to my understanding, with the Knicks and our Knicks in that situation was they were kind of making these uh, draft pick trades and moves for cap space, is what I was hearing. I don't know if that was legitimately true. Again, you paid more attention to the draft than I did. So I don't know if that was legitimately true. Is that what it looked like at the end of everything? Like, did it look like they made it
Well,
for like pieces and moves that they could eventually cut to continue to make more space, or what was it?
well, they definitely freed up some cap space with those moves, and I believe now they've got like 6 first round picks and like a bunch of second round picks going over the next 3 or 4 years. So in that term, they're definitely projected towards the future. I think they've made these moves because they're going to make some big moves in free agency, which starts on Monday. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens. I think they got something on the table. Maybe they got a wink wink deal behind closed doors, and they're going to wait till Monday, the free agency, to make some announcements because they really, excuse me, they really didn't address their point guard situation, and we still
But
need a
we did that
solid
with the pick. We
outside
did
wing shooter.
well. We did
Well,
that
yeah,
with
we
the pick
did.
in a way. That's a time can only tell kind of move. But yeah, this sounds like it sounded like trade bait kind of moves, trade bait kind of pieces, like
Absolutely,
stack up for
absolutely.
future draft picks, stack up draft picks and draft picks and draft picks for the future, and then go start
Right.
poaching some of these stars out here to try to get them to the New York City and Manhattan and get us back to winning something.
Well, yes, yes, yes. Well, I mean, yeah, they did that in some way, but Tibbs is not a good. He doesn't like to play young guys as much unless your name was Derrick Rose and you were just you know out of this world talent. So he did give our young rookies, Emmanuel quickly came on the scene. He was very good. Obi Toppin got better at the end of the year once he found out what his role was and got more comfortable in the league. R.J. Barrett had a very solid sophomore year, and Randall, we all know what Julius Randall did this year, so that doesn't need to be repeated. But I mean, at least to maintain where we were last season and to get better, we're definitely going to have to get some help in free agency. I'm definitely interested in that. Um, I will be disappointed if we get some of these guys that are out here that I do not want on the team, but we'll see. That topic we'll address that topic when it
When it
happens
comes
in a week or two.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I just want to get back to a consistency of at least third 3 to 7 in the playoffs. Like I want to
Oh
get
yeah.
back to that,
Oh yeah.
get back to that consistency where we're always there, but anywhere between 2 to 3 to 7, anywhere between there is perfectly fine with me. Is what I'd like
Yeah.
to
I
get
mean,
back.
well, that'll be a start because we've been losing for the last 20 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
let us get our competitive juices back, and then we might be a guy or two away from actually contending for something bigger. So,
Right.
I would like to see us get out of the first round this year coming up, and maybe into the second round, and shoot roll the dice as they call it. After that, health is always a concern, so we'll see who survives at the end of the season as well too. So,
Yep.
shout out to my
Well,
Knicks for putting their best foot forward.
right. Well, speaking about losers and people trying to recover, we got to get into this bullshit right here, as I called it, the January 6th shitstorm aftermath. They're finally starting to like build something to go over and review the terrorist attack on the Capitol on January 6th of 2021, aka the insurrection, aka as Trump's people called it, they called it a peaceful protest with hugs and kisses. Yeah. And we all remember that day. We all remember how all the politicians were running scared, and rightfully so. But for the Republican Party, I will say that they were running scared, tucking their tails in, running for their life, all to come back and pretty much try to make like, oh, nothing's wrong, nothing to see here. This never happened. This was a peaceful protest. This was as peaceful as a Black Lives Matter rally and yada yada. And oh, they were just expressing their whatevers and all the bullshit rhetoric that you could think of and you can make up. This is what the Republican Party has been doing thus far when it comes to trying to handle, or pretty much, I guess, in a legal sense, just trying to certify that Donald Trump stirred the shit. He stirred the shit pot that caused this to happen, giving out what he always called fake news, giving out multiple lies from BS sources, aka his own brain, and all that shit. And so now, the Democrats of Congress are trying to, again, they're trying to do something to get to the bottom of kind of what us common folks have already figured out: racism, uh, white supremacy. Uh, Trump did this shit. Yep, you see that nigga over there? Yeah, he did that. This we figured this shit out already, but they're just trying to put, I guess, legal pen to paper now. And the Republican Party, as they ran, instead of, and then all right, I feel like I'm rambling, but TJ, let's think about it like this: if the Republican Party was going to back out of this the way that they did, or the way that they're doing right now, if they're going to try to backslide their way out of potential charges, potential being called the wrongdoers in this, why didn't they turn around and run with those people that day on the 6th if they knew that they was going to just kind of find a way to let them get away with this? Why didn't they just let them
bro.
do it?
So here's the dichotomy or the hypocritical bullshit that they're feeding us, right? So, they said it was a peaceful protest, this, that, and the third, but then they turn around and blame Pelosi because there wasn't enough security. She should have known this was happening. This was going on. Well, they knew about this well before time. Uh, all these excuses, right? So was it a peaceful protest, or did Nancy Pelosi why didn't Nancy Pelosi, who is not in charge of the Capitol Police, by the way, in no way, shape, or form, and has no influence on what the security measures are in regards to Congress when they meet, has nothing to do with her. All right, that's the man at arms. That's the architect of the Capitol building. All this other shit that other people are involved in, she has no business being part of. But it's Nancy Pelosi's fault, right? Or the fact that you know these people matter, and they're sitting here beating the crap out of cops. A couple of people died behind it, but Blue Lives Matter. It can't be Blue Lives Matter and then you're beating on the same people that you said their lives matter. uh there's one more point I'm trying to make here, and it just escaped me, and I'm frustrated about it, old age. But you can't turn around and say it's one thing on this hand and then turn around and blame somebody on the other hand. You're flip flopping. So was it a peaceful protest? Did people react to it in one way, or was there not enough security? Did they delay the process of the rest of the state troopers to come in, the National Guard to come in? Why was that delayed? If it was such a peaceful protest and people were fearing for their lives, like you said, why were they ducking covering? If it was such a happy-go-lucky, we're skipping down through the halls of the Capitol building. If that was the case, you should have been out there cheering them on. Come on in. Rallies on us. You know what I'm saying? Where's that at? No, that was not the case. And you think we're going to sit here and just be ignorant or stupid? I mean, it was live on television as it happened. People were appalled by how this was happening as it happened. This was ridiculous. This was ridiculous. And if you didn't watch or see anything, what happened that day, you were living under a rock, because it was on international news. It was all over the world. This never happens in the United States. For something of this nature, this big to happen in the United States, the allegedly most greatest advanced country in the world, to have some kind of insurrection of this matter, white people storming the Capitol? What?
Right,
Insane.
right. Oh, yeah, yeah. All of those in air quotes.
Insane.
All of those in air quotes. But like, what the first thing that had happened so far with this trial session that's building is they interviewed four police officers, four Capitol police officers that was there, and one of them, one of the black men that they actually pulled in for this, um, he was called a nigger several times, and in my head I was like, what did you expect amongst that kind of crowd, unfortunately? But then, too, let's remember, TJ, as you mentioned, we've seen this on tape. We've seen cops letting them in. So, how many cops were on their side? It's kind of crazy. But these cops were, some of them felt like that. Oh, they just came in to do their job, and that was it. Which, when I was reading comments like that, it made me feel like, or if you just came in to do their job. In some respects, you had the feeling of you probably would have been there. You probably would have been there if you wasn't on duty that day. To the black cop, did you
It's just
not expect
ridiculous.
to get called a nigga that day? I like I like
I
that
don't
would be
think he
something
woke
that I
up expecting to be called that day. I
oh
don't think he
yeah,
woke up to
I
expect
don't
to be
know.
called that
True indeed. But
day.
if, as soon as you see a sea of those folks out there, I mean, you might have to put your nigga hard hat on and get ready for that storm. I'm sorry, but then the one word that was said by one officer is he felt. Let me, and if I got the officer's name was Aquino Gonels. I guess I'm definitely butchering his name. I'm sorry, but he said the fighting was worse than anything he'd seen in Iraq. The
I
fighting is
doubt
worse
that.
than anything he's seen in Iraq.
Oh, maybe he didn't see any
The
fighting in Iraq. That
the
could be.
same, yeah, and as I say, Iraq, equating this to the same people you call as terrorists over there, for the most part, just for having brown skin and yeah, fighting off for their land. Did you see these people as terrorists also? I don't know. I have questions for the officers. Excuse me, for the officers. I have a bunch of questions just for the officers that I mean, I would like to sit down and have the conversation personally because I really want to know, like, what did y'all expect? What did y'all expect? Did y'all really expect anything less than this
I
to
don't think.
happen?
You know what? No, they did. Here in their defense, Dan, that day they did not expect that to happen. So I
But here's the
understand
thing,
where they're
though. But
coming
here's the
from.
thing, though.
Nobody
That,
expected that.
but the word has been out for a while. The word has been out for a while. And let's be real. If you want to kind of, I'll throw my conspiracy theorist hat on for a second. If you want to say that the government knew about 9/11, they knew about some shit like this was going to happen. They know ahead of time. Let's remember too, if this was like a
Oh,
confirmed
I'm
event,
glad
if
you
this
said
was
that.
if this was like a confirmed event, as far as they called it a peaceful rally, don't you have to put in permits for these things?
So here's. I'm glad you brought it up because you brought me back to my first thought that I forgot before. So you know the right is saying it was Antifa, BLM, all this other stuff, right? So if you thought so strongly that it was Antifa and BLM that did this, or people were perpetrating as uh Proud Boys in this insurrection of that day, then why didn't you want to investigate it? You know what I'm saying? They were heavy against this investigation from the jump, but they were quick to blame the groups that they thought were involved with this insurrection. So of course you want to investigate this. Yes, put another stain, another mark, knock this organization down even more by having this investigation. But they were like, nah, we don't want no parts of this. We don't want no investigation. Why? If you thought it was BLM and Antifa, then you should have all your best people up in the forefront with the rally with the tiki torches saying, yeah, yeah, let's get this let's get this investigation on and popping. We want to bury
100%.
these fools.
100%.
So so of so f- in that sense alone, you know this was all bullshit. In that sense alone, this was all bullshit, and
Right.
that's what I meant to say earlier. So I mean,
This
people are
whole
not
thing,
stupid. You know,
yeah, this whole thing, TJ, is just it's political posturing. It's people putting a party over the people, and the people is the United States of America. The people is the American government. The people is the same colleagues that you were hiding undercover to save your lives with. And now you want to play all of this for joke, for political posturing. For political posturing. Just so you look like you are not against your party. Everybody got to go home from a party someday. Am I right or wrong, TJ? We all got to go home from a
yeah,
party someday.
no,
And eventually you got to see them
someday,
people on the other side once you leave said party. So I don't get it. What is the problem with with denouncing what went on? What is the problem with having the American government recognize that this was a terrorist act brought on by your now supreme leader? Because my goodness, other than Obama, well, no, I was going to say Obama, Trump. There's always ways that people bring up the former presidents, but it just seems like every other day I hear Trump's name more than I hear anybody else's name as far as president was. This was kind of the same vibe with Obama too, because it was these types that you found on January 6th at the Capitol building were the ones talking the biggest shit about Obama. It's these same people who were still talking the biggest shit about what went on during the 6th, but like you said, deflecting to place blame on the wrong people just because y'all like to keep Nancy Pelosi's name in your mouth for no fucking reason.
dude, dude, and we've used this term like a billion times already. It's moving the goalpost, bro, to whatever fits the narrative for whatever you're talking about. Oh, word? No, no, it was this. No, no, it was this. No, no, it was this. No, no, it was this over here. No, no, it was this over here. It's moving the goalpost, bro. It's moving the goalpost to the point where, like, enough is enough, man. You can't excuse your way out of every fucking thing. It's just not going to happen. There's facts, there's what you saw. This was not media driven. This was no big production or what happened. People got arrested. Hundreds of people got arrested by the FBI. People are in jail. People died. Like, this is serious shit. You understand what I'm saying? This is serious shit. And people need to be held accountable for their actions. You can't excuse your way out of it. And the sad fact is that I don't want to blanket it, but white folks have been excusing a lot of shit for a long time. Oh, he was a good kid. Oh, they were just teenagers. Oh, he didn't mean to say that. Oh, I was drunk and I was a drunken rant. Oh, no, 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 no. You said what you felt and how you felt. You did what you did that day because that's what you wanted to do. Point blank, period. There's no way to work around it. Let me tell you something. If that was 1,000 black folks that did that, this would be an entirely different conversation. We'd be called savages, all kind of shit. The racist rhetoric would be out throughout the woodwork, and heads would have been people would be buried under the jail already. The investigation would have been happened weeks, days after this shit jumped off. Days. It's just, it just needs to stop, bro. It just needs to stop.
Absolutely,
The whole
absolutely.
point, I bring this back to, I just bring it back to this one word that it's accountability. Nobody wants to be held accountable for their actions anymore. They're looking to excuse their way out of it or come up with some wild. Now everybody's claiming it was a mental health thing. I was out of my mind. I just got caught up in the rally. I was going with the crowd. Nah, bro. You can't. Everybody can't use that excuse. You can't use that
Right.
excuse. It was in a. It was
And
a planned.
we're gonna
It was
come
a planned and well thought out plot, and it worked to some extent.
to an extent. It only
That's what
failed
it
them
is.
is
Accountability,
because
bro.
it only failed them because they couldn't get their hands on the politicians that they wanted. That's literally why it failed them. It
Right,
only
which was
failed.
Pelosi and Pence. Yeah, which was
That's it.
Pelosi and Pence. And Pence, they were coming for his ass. They wanted to hang his ass across the street with a and with a they put up a noose, bro. Like, come on. This is
Hmm.
I don't I'm just getting frustrated.
Yeah, it's 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 beyond frustrating, but like you
It's
said,
frustrating.
it goes back to that word of accountability. And I mean, even on the Democratic Party side, we can sit here all day and talk about how they have a lack of accountability on certain things too. But that's not what was going on during the sixth. It wasn't about a party. It was about taking out these people were going out there to take y'all out, you, the politicians of America, because they felt like you guys failed them in not getting their supreme leader back into the like they felt like America failed them because their supreme leader was not voted in as president again. They went in there trying to defend lies, trying to defend unfactual conspiracies. Like there's to me, I mean, most conspiracies are truths that the masses just choose not to believe in. But the conspiracies that they were running with this one were just they were false. They were fallacies that nobody should believe in. That was what was going on then. I mean, when they say the numbers don't lie, this was one of those cases where the numbers didn't lie. TJ, the vote was what it was. The numbers
Oh
didn't
my
lie
God.
this time,
It was fraud, bro. It was fraud.
right?
It was fraud. It wasn't fraud when he won. It was only fraud when he
Oh
lost.
yeah, no, no, it's always, it's the greatest ever because he won once, and now y'all can't keep his dick out your mouth. But it goes back to though, everything goes back to that word that you mentioned, accountability, accountability, accountability. I said it three times like Dr. Umar because it don't count if you don't say it three times. But
Well,
but
well, maybe accountability will hop up like Candyman and start taking shit back.
right, right, grabbing it by the back of the neck. Look at this shit. This is you. You did this. But no, but we accountability though. Accountability is gonna lead us into our last topic for the day, and we're talking about the goat versus jobbers. Jobbers are the people who are talking shit on the sidelines. And part of the reason why I called this episode Mental Gymnastics is because what the Republican Party was trying to do to escape accountability, and Simone Biles taking accountability for her own mental well being, her own health, because the sport of gymnastics is very difficult. And if you are, if you're not there
Dan, first of
all the
all,
way, hold
I
on,
don't mean
hold on. Go ahead, go ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, go
I don't
ahead,
mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you off because the word gymnastics, all right, even the word is hard, all right. The sport, the sport, let alone the sport, is on some unrealistic shit you're doing with your body to begin with. This is not baseball. This is not basketball. This is not football, which is a very tough sport. Nobody. It's such a small percent. Gymnastics are like 1% of the top athletes in the world, bro. Like
Well,
1%.
let me hold you there because all professional athletes are of the 1% of the world who can do what they do to that level of
Right.
extreme. But now back to this the gymnastics portion of everything. Um, TJ described just how difficult it can be visually you can see how difficult it can be. Imagine going up in the air doing 4 full rotations, and then the judges are looking for you to land that thing perfect with no budge, no flinch, no
Stick
nothing.
the landing.
Stick the landing and don't move. Don't perfect form, not off balance, none of that. Right? Simone did compete, and she realized early she was a bit off. And then all of a sudden we heard she bowed out of the team competition. Okay, the team competition then eventually led, I believe, into she's not even competing into the individuals coming up this week. I
Right.
think
No, she
all
she
of them,
no, she just backed out. She just backed out of the last two events.
and shout outs to Ed. He said I can't imagine doing one rotation. I'm breaking my neck. Real talk. I mean, you understand that. I mean, at least we understand that. But so she used a word that a lot of people decided to kind of gloss over when she said, and to my knowledge of this, to my learning of this, after reading up on what was going on and why was she going out, was she said in a text message to her teammates, I had a case of the twisties. And I'm trying to look up and see what that is. And the only thing that, and I can only use my own assumption, the twisties kind of is when your equilibrium is off. And if you understand just the basics of how your equilibrium works, like I was telling the TJ pre-show, your equilibrium, if you're not straight in the head, you could be walking straight down a sidewalk and just fall over
It's
or
called
be off
vertigo.
balance.
It's
And
called
yeah, vertigo,
vertigo.
yes, vertigo. It pretty much can be that. I don't know if she's saying she had vertigo or if they
Right.
diagnosed that she had vertigo. But yeah, vertigo is definitely that.
Right.
And in that sport, if you are not there all the way here, you can kill yourself. You can get hurt. One of the things that a lot of people were deciding to bring up was that Carrie Strug and that Olympics that she went up with the broken leg and all of that. And fine, cool, she did that what she did and all of that. But as they say, hindsight 2020. Uh, Revisionist history is the thing. Coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and all of that. You know, she nowadays would say, if I had the strength of Simone Biles, I would have not went back out there and did that. I believe I've heard and read certain things that her saying that.
She said that, and I was reading the story behind that. She told her coach she could not do this. Like she was
Mm-hmm.
like, I cannot do this. The girl was crying, bro,
Mm-hmm.
crying. Don't send me back out there. I can't do it. I'm in pain. I can't
Mm-hmm.
feel my leg. I can't feel my
Mm-hmm.
leg. The
Mm-hmm.
coach was like, give me one more. Give me one
Mm-hmm.
more. Come on, you can do it. One more. The mental
Uh,
fortitude for
mm-hmm.
that alone. And this is a teenager you're talking to. This is not a no grown ass adult. This is a teenager you're talking to. And it's going by what this person they practically known all their life, been training with them 24/7. This is an extended parent at this
Right.
point. Is going off of what they're telling them. I give me one
And
more,
and
and
and now don't go no further
that's what
because I
she
want.
did. She gave us
Right. Right.
one more. That chick
Right.
did not want to be out there that day. She wasn't trying to make history.
Right.
Fuck history.
Now hold that because like Ed just recited kind of what you said. Carrie Strug was begging not to compete, and her coach kept pushing and pushing and pushing. That's malpractice. In today's lens, absolutely. Because once again, and I'm speaking to this in generalizations. I'm not speaking to this as I'm hanging my jersey up on it like, yup, this is where I stand and all that good shit. This is all I am speaking to the era of sports that I can see from who's watching so far, and even us two here, TJ. The era of sports that we grew up in was the get up off the ground, rub some dirt on it, shake it off, you'll be okay. We came from
Yeah.
that kind of coaching. We came from the football coaching where you got belittled like a motherfucker, where it would be considered verbal abuse nowadays. The
Right.
era that we came in was a very, very, in today's standards, very caveman like way of life, way of thinking. And in some respects, you had to grow to develop that mental toughness to withstand that. Because if you was able to withstand that, what would be perceived as abuse today, as soon as you got up to and lined up against somebody on that field, or you stood up at bat against that pitcher, or whatever the case may be, you're looking down the runway to the horse to do your vault or something. You looked at that as, you know what, I'm gonna go kill it now because I don't want to let these people down, because I don't want to hear this type of shit no more. I don't want to go through this no more. So in our era, depending on your mental makeup, it did bring a level of strength. And in some respects, it helped foster some adversity. But that still does not mean it was right.
It also broke people
It's
too.
it still doesn't mean it was
Right.
right.
That's what I was saying.
Like, let's just go into what I'm speaking about now. I'm sure this is Ed. He said, my high school football coach used to ask us, or you're hurt or you're injured. I played half a season with a torn ligament in my shoulder. In hindsight, that wasn't smart. And that's what we're talking about. In hindsight, because we look at things in the newer age of lens, because we evolved, we've grown up. We've learned that a lot of what we went through and done in the past really wasn't right. And we are now, as a people, building a level of mental strength to be able to come out and speak about said things and to come out and denounce said things. I mean, in some small correlation, that's the reason why Cosby went down, because people started to get stronger and be able to speak out about things. It is the reason why Joe Paterno and that nasty man Sandusky finally went down the way they did, because shit. We're talking about gymnastics. The Larry Nassar, the strength that it took these women to gather up the ability to all step up and say, this nasty motherfucker that y'all hired as a doctor has been touching us inappropriately. We have to now respect that, yeah, we were brought up in a certain way in that decades ago. That shit has been left in the past for a long time. That shit got left in the past when football two-a-days have no longer became a thing. That's how long ago, and two-a-days hasn't been a thing for almost 2 decades now. That's how long that this has been. Almost, no, at least a decade, at least two. But these things have been left so far in the past that we have to now respect the what it takes for somebody to step up and say, even on the world's biggest stage, I don't have it today. And as long as that person understands, because I'm a person who I look like this, TJ. You go into something, understand the consequences of what you're going into. You go into the world's biggest stage, it's either you're competing for a medal or you're taking the L. As long as you're good with both sides, or however the outcome comes, live with your decision of going. Live with what your decision of
And
doing. So
and you
you
know what,
chose
Dan?
to back out. Hold on, you chose to back out because you weren't right here. Which, okay, that to me told me you're good with not having to win a gold, because let's keep it real. Intangibles aside, she didn't need to compete. She's already head and shoulders above the rest of whoever came before her and after her. She did, it wasn't necessary. But
Right.
this is now a new teaching tool, a new teaching lesson for other people to say, hey, I'm not there today. And us people who are of the coaching age, or people, you got to learn to live with these decisions of these athletes, because guess what? Especially gymnastics, you start at a really, really young age, and your peak is maybe your early 20s. Not even your peak. The end of your career is your early 20s.
Right.
That person now has a lot more living to do post those 10 to 15 years of their life. Post of 10 to 15 years of their life beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They got a lot more living to do. Simone Biles has a lot more living to do. Kerry Strug had a lot more life to live post that. So we got to respect, you guys got to start respecting these people's decisions because, ooh, we want to see a victory happen by any means necessary, but you're not the one out there putting your body on the line for that. You're not the one putting your body. Yeah, you can talk back to the era we grew up in where you got to man up, put your chest into it and all that shit. But guess what? How many people have committed, think in NFL, how many people committed suicide because they manned up? They thought they saw two fingers when the guy was holding up four, but the team doctor said, "I'll go back in. You just got your bell rung." And now you done blasted yourself in the head. Now you done killed your family because all right here ain't good. We got
So
to start respecting what
so
these people talk and say behind their mental health is such a huge thing that we're still all as a people learning about and learning to accept speaking out about our flaws and our shortcomings and things. Respect it and allow the person to breathe, allow them to be who they are. That's it. You don't have to like it, but it ain't for you to fucking like. Change the channel. TJ, I'm good.
so it's just like when you watch any other sport, right? And they do the interview after the L, right? And they say, "Oh, I didn't have my best stuff today." A picture of like, "I didn't have my best stuff today," or in the NFL, "We didn't execute the way we should have today," or you don't know what's going on in that person's head. You don't know the injuries they don't tell you about. You don't know what's going on in their personal life that they brought out onto the field or anything like that, or whatever situation they're going to. You have no idea what these people and the amount of pressure that they're going through on a day-to-day basis. And that falls right back into a mental health situation. You're not going to have it every day. You could be great throughout the whole Olympic trials, every race, test, whatever you've done. You're ready to, you've mastered, you've conquered it, you finished number one. The day of the event, something comes up, you're completely shook. You're not there mentally, you're not there physically, you're not there uh however it is. And you just don't have it that day. Everybody can't win every event all the time because they're the number one in their sport. It just doesn't happen like that. You're reaching for something that's not there. It's just, it doesn't make sense. But like you said, Dan, we're coming from an old school mentality. They want you to push. And you got to remember, like these these things are like people, when we're getting at these people, they're at a very young age. Their mind is still, especially in gymnastics, you're talking to teenagers. So they don't know any better, or they don't know how to speak up. They didn't have anybody before them say, "Hey, you don't have to do this if you don't want to." You don't so there's people before them that paved the way so they can speak out. It's okay to speak out. It's okay to say you don't got it. It's okay to say, "Listen, I'm not there." It's okay to say, "I'm hurt, coach. I cannot do this today."
Right, like what I mentioned before when I brought in the two a days as an example, and said in hindsight, with what we know about rest, load management, and concussions and micro concussions, it seems insane that they used to do two a days. True indeed,
Right.
and Ed, you know from the football standpoint of the two a days, you were getting hitting on top of hitting on top of hitting when
Full
thinking
pads.
about it,
Full pads.
thinking about it in hindsight, thinking about it in hindsight is they could have flipped the two a days as one part weights, one part running, one part hitting, one part running, one part drills, and you could reduce a lot with that. You could do a lot with that. Shout outs to Will. He said one of the major issues is that many fans who find themselves out of breath after a romantic walk from the couch to the refrigerator now have a platform to share their emotions about a thing they could never do. Social media allows a wild buns brain fart to become part of, if not the discussion. eventually helping to shape a narrative around an athlete that has nothing to do with what the athlete actually does and what it takes for them to achieve at a higher level. Eat less Pringles, ass clown. The wordsmith is killing it again. That cap off was priceless. Eat less Pringles, ass clown. But that's real shit, and it's real shit. Yeah, but you know what too though? That calls to again the Monday morning the couch quarterback who talks about that. Oh, if they should have did, I should have did. You even get it from the people who talk the front office talk like, oh, I'm not trading that person up. You're not in position to trade that person. It don't matter what you trade. You can trade all you want. You got this. I got a Charizard Pokemon card. You got a Pikachu. I don't want to trade you for that. I want your Blastoise. Look at you. I'm on the side, man. I'd have never made that trade, man. You better give him a freaking Magneton and a Jolteon for that Charizard. I'm sorry, I went a little nerd Pokemon on y'all, but that's how stupid people sound sometimes. It's okay to critique things to some respects, but I also would say critique them on the level that you actually understand. It kind of
Can I say
also in
this?
some. It's 1 second too before teaching because I know you got this might get you a little bit too. You know what? I just fucking drew a blank. Go ahead. I had it right here. What I was gonna say.
I'm
But go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
But
all good. All good.
nobody sees this from the athlete's perspective, bro. Nobody
Yeah.
puts themselves in the athlete's shoes
Hold
at
that right there
all.
because
And
that
that's
I
what it
just remember what I was. I just remember what I was gonna say
go
because
ahead.
like you said,
Go ahead.
nobody's seen it from the athlete's shoes because it goes back to something that say many of us people usually gripe about the likes of like a Skip Bayless or a Stephen A. Smith or a Max Kellerman or thing like we look at those people as y'all never played the sport. Now, with the granted exception to Stephen A., who went out to play college basketball but was hurt, it's like you've never played the sport at almost any level, at least a minimum of high school level, at least a minimum of high school level. You've never played these sports, but yet you got the ability to critique them. People get paid millions of dollars to do this. People get paid millions of dollars to do this. That you've never, and so we're kind of taking that same approach and that same respect of, yo, like you fat boy on the couch, like you said, eat less Pringles. Yeah, Mister fucking, I'm stuck in the couch. Did somebody page me? If you remember that old school beeper commercial with the fat guy who couldn't get out the lazy boy because but he felt his beeper vibrating. Like, yeah, but you, Mister Fat Man in the couch or fat woman in the couch, got the nerve to talk about a Simone Biles, but you can't even get up and do a front bend over to tie your shoe. And I'm
Well,
saying we could kind of correlate it to the person who talks about sports for a living. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm just kind of saying we can talk about these people who talk about sports for a living that have never played these games also. And then make
right.
asinine quotes and stuff like Skip. I mean, yeah, they're like Skip Bayless.
Well, it's like I said, like you didn't put yourself in the athlete's shoes. All you see is the end result. You didn't even see the work and the mental fortitude that it took just to even get to that level, my guy. You don't even know what it took to get to that level. Okay? You're talking about the world stage, not the backyard champ, not the neighborhood pro. You're local. You're less than local. You're not even the best at your job. At your job. So how can you critique
Factory.
somebody who's the best in the world? If you're not speaking from an experience where you put in the time, the energy, the sweat equity to be the best at what you do to get where you need to go. All right? You have no say in this matter. You have absolutely zero say. Listen, everybody's right to have an opinion, so be it. Yes. It's a free country, free speech. Say what you want. That's what we're built on. Nobody's getting snatched up out of their house for saying what they want to say, right? But like I said, You're not even the best at your day job that you work at and make a living at. You probably never even was in the running for employee of the month, much less employee of the week at your job. But you have an opinion on this person who's dedicated their life to this. You ain't dedicating 8 hours, my guy. But
Right.
you gonna criticize somebody.
You want to run out of work after
You
five
want
and a
to
half.
you right? Shit, is it 5 o'clock yet? Is your motto? But you want to get at somebody who's dedicated their life and their passion. This is what they wanted. This is always what they've. It's in their blood to do. You cannot comment on that. You have no say in that, and that's my point.
And you think about it as this: these are people who dedicate their lives to athletics to sit back and entertain you. The people who choose to critique, especially it's like you said, we all have the right to make opinions on things and complain, however you want to put it. You know, we all have the right to voice ourselves here. We all have the right to voice ourselves here. But when you try to get critical, it's really is when you try to really break down and critique some shit that you didn't do. And I mean, hell, people can say that about us. We talk politics all the time. None of us have been politicians, even though politics affects our lives on a
Indeed.
daily basis. That we
Well,
have to live under rules and
you see
laws.
it all.
We have to practice
You see it
rules
all.
and laws.
You see it with the politicians all the time, speaking about shit they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They
Hmm.
question. They bring all these guys to Congress. They question Facebook, Twitter. You guys don't even know how the internet works half the time, but you're gonna chastise these guys. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
Everybody's a fucking medical expert now from Facebook
Or
University and YouTube accredited schools, but you never even cracked a book on this shit. But you're an expert. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
give you this though. I'll give you this though, TJ. I'll give it to you in this way. Y'all know what type of job I do. If y'all hear, I'm sorry, there's a truck passing by right now. But but just give me a quick second, y'all. But on my job, right? A lot of the senior guys who are still left stuck in the Stone Ages, right? A lot of them like to go like this. You see this here, besides the phone case, hit up the starfirepodcast.com/merch. Go get the phone case. But they go, you see this here? You see this here? This is the death of the job. This is the problem with the job. This is the blah, 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 blah. It goes right to what you just mentioned, TJ, and how motherfuckers that don't understand how this thing works, that don't understand what these notifications would even be telling them. They don't understand how the internet works, but they know to say that the internet is the problem. You, my friend, who've never, like we said, you've never even done a barrel roll. You've never done a cannonball inside of a pool. But you're going to tell Simone Biles that, oh, you just got to shake it off and get over it and get back on the balance beam. Get back on the runway to hit that horse and do your 8 flips in the air. Get back on that floor and do your floor routine. Risk your life now for us because we want to see you do good, but you don't even know what it takes to get there. You don't even know what it takes to do. But something that we almost perfectly segued into it just a second ago that I said we need to answer on this show. It was a post in our group. It was a post in our group from the homie, Brett Wells. And that's not the post. Sorry, y'all. I just went to the comment section of the video that you are already watching. Sorry. Let's see if I can click the right. Let's see if I can click the right one now. Is that it? That should be it. There it is. This is question. Why is mental illness, lack of mental health, an appropriate excuse for a mass shooter, but not for an athlete to back out of game or competition? It goes back to everything we just mentioned earlier. That's why I didn't want to type it out. Listen to the show to see what I really think or what we really think. It goes back to a caveman, cavewoman way of thinking. It goes back to that archaic wave of what I just mentioned before. But where I personally don't make these two things connect is you're tying in also the added thing of white supremacy, which white supremacy in sports and all that stuff, we can tie that another rabbit hole show for another day. But you're talking about white supremacists and racist actions and activities that people are trying to make a pass for, but want to harp on a person in a sport. And it doesn't even have to be in this situation, in this scenario. We don't even have to bring up a black woman in sports. We don't have. We can bring up white men in sports. We can bring up black man versus black pop, however the fuck you want to put it. You know, we you're talking about racists versus dumbass fans. Dumbass fans could be racist too, because let's be real. I didn't see a lot of the gripe at first. Then I started to see it across the board. I started to see it a lot more from our people because that's what my timeline looked like at the time that people were complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? It was more of our people on my timeline personally that was complaining, oh, oh, she could have just got up and did this, that, and the third. And it's too deep of a rabbit hole to go down because there's so many layers of this TV that can be broken down. But point is there is no excuse. There is no excuse for the accountability behind said school shooter or Dylan Roof. Or there's no nothing behind that. There is no making
You said the
excuses for
key
that.
word though, Dan. You said the key word, accountability.
Right. And Steve, regardless,
You said the
if
key word right
most of
there.
y'all
It's
out there,
accountability.
most of y'all out there like to keep the tight circles on your timelines and your friends list and stuff like that. So you should be seeing more of the people who are anti this or again or who aren't those sets of people that think like that. Most of y'all people out there craft y'all timelines to look like that, right or wrong, TJ. Most
Absolutely
people
right.
craft their timelines to look the way that they
Listen,
want to see every day. So
listen,
rhetoric
like I
like
said,
that,
Dan,
it's like comparing the two things. Just you can compare it, you can do it as you want to, but again, there is no excuse. There is no excuse, and
none.
that's just from me. From me, I'm not answering for nobody else. There is no excuse from me. There is no excuse.
And like I said before, most people ain't the GOAT at their own job, okay, in their daily lives. Most people ain't GOAT parents. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, there's so many layers that we can go down the rabbit hole that we'll be discussing this shit forever. We'll be discussing this shit forever. And are there racial issues? Of course. Are there gender issues? Of course. There's a ton of shit that needs to be resolved before we even get to this point what we're talking about right now. But back to the main thing, which is the mental health issue. It's a mental health issue. There's no excuse for a mental health issue. It's something that's serious. It's something that this country fails to address on many, 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 many levels, bro. Many, many levels. And it should be a number one thing. Look at all these people taking drugs and the Oxycontin and all this other shit that they're having problems with. It's a mental issue. They're struggling with their everyday lives and they're looking for something to help them cope with
They're
their
looking for an
day
escape.
to day
They're looking for an escape.
functions.
Yep.
Right. They're looking for some escape for their day to day functions. To get through this day, I'm going to need to take this pill. To get through this day, I need to take that pill. To get through the next hour at work that I'm not the goat at, I need to take this. You see commercials for 5 hour energy drinks. You're sagging through at 3 o'clock. Your 3 o'clock low. Take a 5 hour
I
energy drink. What
I
the fuck
take
are you
that shit.
talking
I ain't
about?
gonna
It's
lie.
a mental issue, bro.
No.
But you're
Five
looking
hour
for
at five
something
hour energy. I can
not for
testify.
you.
It's physical. It's physical more than mental for me. I
It's
it's
physical.
physical. The shit works
Okay.
for me, but
Not. I'm not.
we ain't
I'm saying
sponsored. We ain't getting
right.
sponsored.
No, we're not sponsoring, and they're not sponsoring us. So fuck them. But But what I'm saying is, like, people need help to get through the day because they got a lot of shit going on in their lives. They got a lot of shit going on with their family. They got a lot of shit going on with their friends. People drag you into their bullshit all day, every day. If you sit there and listen to them, you know what I'm saying? And if you take that shit to heart, you'll be right there on that level. They want to bring you down to wherever level they're at because misery loves company.
This is
You know what I'm
getting
saying?
personal. This
I'm
is
not
getting
saying
personal because we can start telling stories now, and we ain't trying to pull no
no, no, no,
stories
no.
out on
I'm not, no, 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 no. I'm definitely not touching that subject with a 10-foot
Yeah,
pole. No time. You'll never get that shit out of me. So, but what I'm saying is, in general, people are looking to cope with whatever they're going through on a day-to-day basis,
yep.
and it ties into a mental health issue. So now we take it to the world stage with Simone Biles, and all of a sudden, people can't understand what the fuck she's going through. Really,
Right.
really,
It's like
have you looked in the mirror?
it's like the why did you go there type of thing. It's why did you go there? Why did you take the flight? Why did you take a roster spot from another teammate? This, that, and the third. Oh, I'm
Because it's
sorry.
easy to
You
point the
still
finger.
yeah, and you still gotta go. It's and here's the thing that people aren't talking about is that she still tried. She still made the attempt. But to me, it takes that much more of a mental stronger person to say, I am not here today and verbalize it than just go through the motions and get hurt.
Not only that, not only that, Dan, she knew she didn't have it and would bring the rest of the team down. So she was like, yo, let me back out of it altogether and let
And let me go
my
support
teammates
my team.
shine. Right.
That's it.
Let me go,
And still
let me support my team. And it worked because the young lady won gold in the all around. She said her words from Simone Biles helped her, pushed her to win the gold. Are you kidding me? The mental fortitude it took to back out because he knew it would hurt the team, and then to prop up her teammates and say,
yeah.
"Go do that shit."
Now I'm gonna
It's
go back to my
incredible,
man
bro.
Bill. My man Bill is came on to the show late. Bill, you're gonna have to go back and listen to this later because he said an obstacle that all athletes most overcome. Rephrase that part and come back again, my man, because he got jumped on in the group behind that. And I gotta say, it's unfortunately you displayed what we spoke about 20 minutes ago. My man, and you my man and all that. And I'm sorry I'm calling you personally right now, but you my man and all of that. But you displayed the mentality in comments during this week that we just spoke about. Is that you can't look at the things in the lens of how we grew up. There are certain aspects of life where, yes, that made us. The things that we've been through made us. But we can't continue to expect to carry on these same traditions over and over and over and over again. There'll be no growth. If we were carrying on the same traditions in this world that we've grown up in, then we would still be getting called niggas from white people. We would still be knocking out white people for calling us niggas. There would still be lynchings. There would be a stronger presence of the Klan in certain places. Like there's so much shit that if you thought about it, if we still can maintain the traditions and shit that we grew up on, we'd still be playing with fucking Nintendo cartridges. We wouldn't be playing games on streaming or on disc or anything. Street
Because
Fighter
people
wouldn't
want
even
better,
be out.
right?
Exactly, because
Right.
people want better, because people want to advance in their life. And part of advancing in life is getting to become more and more of a better human up here, and growing and
Indeed.
evolving up here, more than carrying on
And
the
some
same bullshit that we were taught.
and some people can't advance past that. Let's be honest. Some people can't
That
advance past
yes,
that point. You
yes,
get to it.
absolutely.
You get to a certain age, and you just be like, fuck it. I'm not seeing it any other way but this way,
Exact.
and that's fine. And that's
Some
fine.
people want their women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen still. And there's crazy ass women in the world that still do that. Unless you have a beautiful wife like mine who go gets that shit. She goes and gets that
There you
shit,
go.
goes and kills it and gets a degree, goes and kills it and makes National Honor Society. About to continue to further more in her company and shit like that. You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
You gotta
Like,
want it
like
more.
You
Right.
gotta want more. You gotta want more, but you also have to know when it ain't here today. It ain't it today.
Right.
I'm I'm not afraid to say it at work. I mean, my job is pretty easy here and there, but then we could say that. And shout outs to Bill, you know the deal. But there are times where within before my old supervisor retired, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm dragging ass. I'm just and it,
It
I get it.
happens,
I'm sorry.
bro.
Yeah, it happens.
It
It
happens. And you know
happens.
what you
It's
do? You pick your man up. You say, "Don't worry about it. I got your back today. We
mm-hmm.
got you.
And
You good."
in some
And that's exactly what Simone Biles did. She said, "I don't got it
exactly.
today,
Yep.
but I got you. I got you.
Yep.
I got you. Let me
Yep.
let me hold you guys down from the sidelines because I know you're what the greatness holds in y'all." Same
And
shit, bro.
and that's
Same
what
shit.
makes up and that's what makes a great teammate. That is
Period.
the teammate you want. That is the
Period.
teammate you want. I'm sorry.
You will go through a fucking wall for that person, bro.
Hmm.
You will go
This
through a
ain't
fucking wall
now
for that
now
person.
now in a
Go
sports
ahead.
term though, in a sports sense though, TJ, this ain't the Damian Tomlinson. This ain't kind of the same thing. No,
I know what you're
it could
saying.
be.
Yeah, I know
It
what you're
could
saying.
be. It could be. I was gonna say this ain't Chris Paul, but Chris Paul. No, Chris Paul. This ain't Chris Paul because Chris Paul sometimes in most recent years would just kind of shrink under the pressure. But if you need an example of a time where you might need to back out and back down, then a person like Chris Paul should have been like, "Yo, whoever my backup, whoever my backup point guard is man, yo, I will teach you whatever I have, but I'm not getting it done today." You know what I'm saying? Like, go do this. Go.
There's certain
There's so
physical
many
abilities.
examples, kind
He
of.
he could just said he could just said like this. Listen, I can't get around this guy. You're way quicker. You're way more athletic than I was at this time. Go out there and cook this dude. And here's how you do it. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I know the weaknesses. I can't attack his weaknesses in the same way you can attack his
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses. Go out there and destroy this kid. He can't go left. Kill him going left the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Force him to his right. This dude cannot shoot a jumper. Force him to shoot jump shots all fucking game. Whatever the case may
Right.
be. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because he
Give
don't
him the
know you.
keys.
They know me,
Right.
but they don't know you.
Right. Right. Give him the keys and let that motherfucker rock. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll all be better for it at the end of the day. And that's
But
what we need more of.
mm-hmm. True indeed. That was a great way to end it because this comment here was also a great way to end it. For many, even hindsight ain't 2020, especially when you have no vision at all. And that right there, that especially because you have no vision at all, comment is huge.
Woo!
Because there are many of
Woo!
y'all who just got themselves
Bingo.
to a point where it's like we said, I'm comfortable in life. I ain't got to get up on this out this couch no more. Hey, can you grab my cell phone out my stomach fat? I can't reach it because I'm so comfortable here, but I want to answer that phone. You can't lift up your stomach to see the phone. You're so I'm just saying to the level of comfortability that people are to continue to carry on ignorance, to carry on dumb stupidity. Like this is where we're at. We're at a level where many of us have evolved. Many of us have evolved and grown for worse. Many of us just stayed right here and still think it's 1975 or 1982. He said Dunlap syndrome. Shout outs to Hollis. He said Dunlap syndrome. Belly Dunlap the belt.
Been there, done that.
I'm past that. I'm getting better. I've been around 335. I'm good now. But no, but really though, I mean, it's if you don't, we said it earlier, but I still in a way don't like you know what, oh, you ain't been here before, you don't know what it, shut up about. I I I, I agree with it. Sometimes I don't like it being verbalized, but I agree with it in many respects. But if it's like comments that you're going to go completely outlandish and derogatory, you might as well just keep them shits to yourself. You're better off just keeping the shit to yourself because all you're going to do is make you look stupid. Meanwhile, the athlete that you're shitting on who dedicated their life to a craft that, like you said, like people will probably talk shit about a fucking Adam Morrison. And only his name came into my head because listen, shout out to Will. Listen to his recent episode
Oh yeah,
on his
yeah,
podcast stream about the draft. Somebody mentioned Adam Morrison.
right.
You couldn't even be the 1,000th Adam Morrison on the bench, and that man sat on the bench and gave rings. And most of y'all people can't even be that. So think before you critique. Think before you try to analyze some shit just because you were a fan. I mean,
The
and
key word is
I never played NFL football, but I played semi-pro as an adult into my adulthood. Continue to play the game. And when you play a certain game, you do learn the intricacies enough to understand more of what's going on the field than the person who's a fan that just sits back and goes to the games just to tailgate and
the
drink beer.
the word is perspective, Dan, and nobody does that. You know what I'm saying? You need
Mm-hmm.
perspective. You
Mm-hmm.
need to gain perspective from the other person's point of view, and that just goes along and that extends across all boards and a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
need the perspective of where they're coming from, unless they're just outright ignorant, like what you said, and just their outright stupidity. And sometimes you just don't need to have a conversation with that person. Just end it, walk away. You'll save yourself the mental health or the mental
Mm-hmm.
gymnastics, as they like to call it.
that
You
you
know what
have
I'm
to do to
saying?
defend
That you
yourself afterwards
right, or
because you done
explain
fucked up and said something stupid.
right, right, or explain how you got to that point. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
And even
like,
even too, TJ, like you think of like, one of the names that we like to recite too, Chuck Daly, like never played the game of basketball, Hall of Fame level coach, but the man took the time to sit and educate himself about the game from the ins and the outs, from all aspects of the game to be able to be known as the level of coach that he was,
he
because you
understood the
took time to
perspective.
yes, you took the time to understand the perspective, but to understand the complete X and O's of a game and what it takes to build a team. That's where these levels are different. People just want to dedicate themselves to, oh, I've watched the NFL for the past 10 years, I haven't missed a game. But you still couldn't even tell me what this offensive lineman just called out and why this blocking scheme occurred. All you know is oh, he missed the block. He should have blocked better than that. You understand? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right. He's a fan.
That's what I'm trying to get at. You're just a
He's a
fan
fan.
sometimes.
He's
Right.
a fan. Right.
Yeah.
And the term of fan is fanatic, right? So I mean, that goes into
Mm-hmm.
another rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? We can go
Mm-hmm.
into the meaning of the word fanatic and just go, and that's another show. You know what I'm saying? So
Or it's a shitty radio station, but I digress. But but anyway, on that note there, TJ. Yeah, I'm sorry. I say that because most of the hosts on that radio show sound like crybabies from Staten Island. That's all I'm saying. That's most of the hosts on that show sound like fucking crybaby, MAGA. We can do that on that station, and
no understanding of what it took to get in that position in the first place. But hey,
not at all. Some of them are surprising. Some of them are surprising pros that have asinine comments and ideals and shit. But I digress. TJ, this was dope.
this was
Yeah,
dope.
yep, absolutely. I'm not even gonna read that on air, but absolutely, this was a dope one.
This is
This went smooth.
this was
You
yep.
know.
And shout out to the people in the comments today. Uh,
Yep.
for
Y'all
for
were live
for
today.
yeah, y'all were live today, and for gaining a perspective on what it takes to be or an athlete or a goat or a person who's the best at what their God-given ability has given them, their talent, and bringing that out. This was another dope show. I really appreciate it. I love the back and forth. I love the comments. This was really an eye-opening experience to see how people thought about the process or how people don't even think at all. So I like that part. I like when we do shows like this. It gives an insight
Yeah.
on how people think. But I love that shit. Another dope
True
show, brother.
indeed.
Thank you.
Anytime y'all want to watch game film with me, let's go. We can watch some football game film. We can break it down. But Will, no, I'm sorry, and I know this is you without even having to go back because you're the only person who uses the X as the and all that. But he said Katara said y'all owe her for flagrant wanton use of her rabbit hole phrase without her express written consent. I've been using the term rabbit hole before Katara was on the team. We love you, Katara, but I'm just keeping it real. I've been using that I had I've been using that phrase before Qatar was on. JP had some
as
personal things to go going on besides track and field, as y'all said. He had some track and field
as
to watch today.
as Will said on his previous show, the cliche book was wide open today.
Yes.
Okay,
But shout out
it
to
was
shout out to
wide
the
open.
homie, man, for real. Shout out to the homie. Shout out to the homie. Y'all better get on his podcast. Like ASAP, man. ASAP. I'll even pull
So
it up to show y'all. I actually listened to the open run. Second time, we ain't afraid to give props here, but I listened to the open run this episode twice within a matter of a couple hours. Good insight. You want to learn about basketball from somebody who's actually been there. You get the theme of the end of this show is some of us did this shit. That's the theme of the end of the show. Some of us did this shit. Some of us did this shit. I could, if I had shorts on, I'd show you my battle scar from taking a helmet to the knee. But with that being said, though, I ain't got nothing else to say. The Star5Podcast.com for Katara, who's busy working, for JP, who was busy handling personal business, TJ, all of y'all in the comments. This me, the mayor. Peace. We'll
Peace.
see y'all when we see y'all.